Hello, my name is Rick Buyce. I am doing circuit training through Seattle Parks and Recreation Lifelong Recreation Program. First, we're going to start with a little bit of warm-up, something to get the blood flowing, get your joints and your body ready for more activity. This is all weight bearing. If you need to sit in a chair and move around, that can be done too. But what we're going to look at is just some easy stepping and dance moves. If you've done any kind of dance classes or aerobic classes or sports, any kind of activities, those will all work. Anything to just kind of get the heart rate started, get the breathing elevated just a little bit, right? All right. Just a little bit of side-to-side stuff. Basically, you just want to move your joints through their full range of motion. Nice and easy. Just kind of switching up anytime. Again, we're just moving our joints around, kind of mimicking the movements we'll do once we do our exercises with resistance. Sometimes a good walk or up and down some stairs or something may be enough to get you going, get your blood pumping. A little bit of circles, small circles to start, forward or backwards, either way, building up to larger circles. Okay, so first we're going to start with some squats or sit-to-stands, working the thigh muscles and the gluteal muscles. What we're looking for is to keep your weight on the heels, head and chest should face forward, sticking the rear out, okay? We don't want the knees to go forward past the toes, right? So just like when you sit down on a chair and stand back up, the same sort of thing happens in a squat. If you want, holding on to something is easier, that way you don't lose your balance falling backwards. The lower you go, the harder the exercise is going to get for you to stand back up. Another way to do this would be a sit-to-stand using a chair, couch, anywhere you like. Just taking a seat and standing back up, just like you normally would. You can sit fully into the chair every time, or just barely sit and touch your rump and stand back up. Either way. What we're doing is inclined modified push-up. Instead of doing a push-up where we're fully on the ground with all our body weight, we're going to do a push-up on an incline, which is going to take some of your body weight off your hands and make it easier to do. So anywhere from your if you have a solid chair or couch or bed, something a little lower could give you more resistance. Something a little higher, say your kitchen or bathroom cabinets, works very well for that. The counters here. So hands a little wider than shoulder width apart. You're going to adjust to where your feet are far enough back that when you come down into your push-up, the counter or bed or whatever you're using is hitting you right in the middle of the chest here, right on the breastbone, okay? Down all the way, and then push out till your elbows are straight. Slow and controlled. Abdominals are tight. You want to keep everything straight from your shoulders down to your ankles. Heels can come off the ground or stay planted. Whatever feels comfortable to you. If your range of motion doesn't allow all the way, then maybe you go partial and push back. Otherwise, try to go all the way to the counter. Keep breathing. Make sure to lead with the chest. Don't allow the hips to go first. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to do some bicep curls for the bicep muscles in the arms and some hamstring curls for the hamstring muscles in the backs of the thighs. If you don't have any resistance weights at home, dumbbells, which you can use for anything that you can find around the house, canned food, anything that can fit your grip and gives you a little bit of resistance, works just fine. The next section here is cardiovascular fitness. We're looking at heart, lungs, and circulatory system. How fast you go is up to you, whatever pace feels comfortable to you. We're just looking to increase the heart rate and your breathing just a little bit. But again, depending on how hard of a workout you want, will determine maybe how long or how fast you go for on this. But we're going to do about a minute's worth or so. What we're looking for as a whole is to keep the heart rate elevated throughout the whole class. So what you'll do is you'll come upon a cardio section, and you'll get the heart rate up a little bit and spike it up. And then as you do some of the other exercises, it may fall back down slightly, and then you get to another cardiovascular and you spike it back up. Again, whatever pace feels comfortable to you. If you need to sit and do this instead, you can do that and use just arms as opposed to being weight bearing. Okay, very similar to what we did with the warm-up, except maybe a little bit more vigorous this time. Okay. Just some side step, and again, anything just to get the heart going a little bit. Continuous movement. That can be fast, that can be slow, it can be more intricate, or something easier. It just depends on what feels comfortable for you, all right? Arms involved or not, legs involved, taking a walk around the room a couple times, maybe a couple times up and down your staircase at home if you have one, something like that would suffice as cardiovascular work. Again, just spiking this up for about a minute is all we're looking for. Could be similar moves to what we do with resistance, except we're doing this faster without resistance. Okay. All right, now we're going to do an inclined plank, working the abdominal muscles, a little bit of the hip flexors, chest and shoulders. Kind of like the push-up, you're going to get into a position where your elbows are going to be under your chest. Feet are going to be out behind you. And hold this position 5 or 10 seconds. Head is just going to look down and be neutral. You can be more on the balls of your feet or on your toes. All depends on what angle you're at, how flexible your calves and ankles are. You want to make sure to keep your hips up. Don't let them sag at all. Take multiple breaks as you need to. Make sure to breathe normally. Try not to hold your breath at all. Keep your abdominal muscles tight. Make sure that the hips don't sag. That's the biggest thing. You want to be straight like a plank of wood from your ankles all the way up to your shoulders. If you need things tougher, doing this flat on the ground would make it a little bit harder. If you need this easier, doing something up higher, maybe on a couch, the back of a couch or your bed, anything that brings you up off the ground. The higher you are off the ground, the easier it's going to be. The more flat you are to the ground, the tougher it's going to be. This next section here we're going to do is upper back. We're going to do some seated shoulder blade squeezes. These are more isometric using the towel, so we're going to flex the muscles and move the joints a little bit, but not throughout a full range of motion. If you have some rubber tubing, that sort of stuff, you can do the same sort of exercise, but move through your full range of motion with the resistance of the tubing. Okay? But if you don't have something like that, something like a towel or a belt, something that you can grab onto, will work fine with this. So here, we're just thinking about, I'm going to move my elbows back, squeezing my shoulder blades towards the center of my spine. And I'm going to hold that for about 5 seconds, and then relax. Squeeze and hold again for about 5 seconds or so. And I might do this 10 times with 5-second holds. You can change a little bit your range of motion by where you grab on the towel. But keeping hands at about mid-chest, elbows out to the sides. Hold that position. Just maintain your natural breathing. You don't have to push as hard as you can. If you want, and you feel like your coordination is feeling pretty good, add a little bit of heel raises and toe taps at the same time, or separate it out into separate exercises. Here we can work the calf muscles behind the leg, or the shin muscles, fronts. This next exercise is the supine bridge with the pullover. Here we're looking at working the hip muscles, the hamstring muscles, the abdominal muscles, and low back muscles. With the pullover, we're also going to get some upper back muscles and shoulder muscles. So bridge here first, we're going to pelvic tilt, meaning that we're going to rotate the pelvis backwards, flattening our low back into the ground, pushing our belly button straight into our spine. And then once we have that pelvic tilt, we're going to lift up. How high you lift is up to you. A high bridge will be harder than something low where you just barely take the weight off your hips. But you're going to feel this in the back of your thighs also. Now, with the pullover, what you can do, again, take something that's going to work for you, whether it's a dumbbell or bottle of juice, whatever works, and rotate back and forth. As I hold that bridge, I'm going to move my arms through the full range of motion. Everything should feel comfortable, no pain ever. Keeping the abdominal muscles flexed while breathing normally. Take a break. Rotate, lift into the bridge, and then if you want, do the pullover again. So here we go, another cardio. Again, something just to get the heart rate elevated so that it will carry through a couple exercises and then come back to a cardio. How many cardios you do is up to you. If you want to focus more on that than the strength training, you add a little bit more cardio. Maybe you do a cardio in between every exercise as opposed to maybe 4, in a session, okay? Again, you can bound or walk it. Again, whatever works for your speed, whatever works for your joints. This next exercise is the partial lunge with a sword draw. We're looking to work the thigh muscles, the glute muscles, and a little bit of the shoulder and upper back muscles here. Depending on your coordination, your balance, you can piece this out into 2 separate exercises or even hold on to something as you do the lunges. So lunging forward, you're going to step forward and step back. Most of your weight is going to transfer to that front leg, sinking the hips and the rear down and pushing back. Again, we don't want that knee going too far forward at all. We don't want it going forward past the toes. Head and chest are going to face forward. Okay. What you can do, again, if you want to use the arms too, we can do it at the same time. So here and up. As you notice, as I go down on that front leg, back knee bends also. The heel comes up on that back leg too, all right? Rotating the hand and the arm in and out in a diagonal. How low you go on that lunge is up to you. This next exercise is a seated lean back with a rotation. Here we're working the abdominals in the front and then the obliques on the sides of the torso. So sitting on the edge of a chair or a sofa anywhere, you don't want to lean far enough back that you're touching the back of the chair, so you're going to sit more on the edge of the chair. Lean back as far as you feel comfortable and then rotate to the side. Back and forth, to the side and back to the middle. Okay. Again, a minute's worth of work or so, or anywhere around 15 to 20 repetitions. If you want resistance, something like a jug of water, filling it up to different levels will work well. Fully filled, it's about 8 pounds or so. Keeping this tight to your chest will make things a little easier. Bringing this away from the chest will make things harder as you do it. Make sure that that jug or whatever you use for resistance, could be a 5-pound bag of flour, rice, whatever works for you. Okay? Make sure that it stays in front of you, in front of your chest the whole time, that you're not reaching to the sides with it. It stays in front of the chest the whole time. Again, how far you lean back is up to you. How far you rotate is up to you. Slow and controlled on this, making sure your feet are solid and flat on the ground. And make sure to keep breathing the whole time. Don't hold your breath at all. Keep breathing. This next one we're going to do is a single leg balance. What we're looking at is working your balance and coordination. It's also going to work the hip muscle, thigh muscle. You're going to feel it in your calves, ankles, feet. All those are going to get some work. And of course, it's the balance is our message system between the brain and muscles. It tells everything what to do, when to do it. in order to keep us in line with gravity so we don't fall down. A couple different ways to do this would be to just hold on to something in a single leg balance. Easiest way would, maybe your kitchen sink or bathroom sink, holding on to it as you balance. Maybe a couple fingers is all you need. If you need something a little tougher, closing one or both eyes as you balance is going to make things a little tougher also. If you have a ball, that can be used too. Playing catch with yourself, bouncing, playing catch with a neighbor, playing catch against the wall. Any of those sort of things will work in order to give you some balance work. Again, stay safe with it. So depending on your coordination, your balance, your muscles, that can mean something very easy, or it could be something a little more high level, touching a ball to the wall as you balance, or throwing and catching a tennis ball, a beach ball, anything that gives you a little bit of challenge and work safely, okay? So here we'll just do a balance, and it may be 30 seconds per leg or a minute per leg. Again, it just depends on what you want to do, whatever works for you, okay? This next section, another cardio, looking to spike the heart rate, get the heart rate elevated, get our breathing elevated so that it carries on through some of the other exercises after we're done. So again, about a minute of this. Whatever works for you, any kind of dance moves that maybe you walk up and down the stairs a couple times, running around the house, or walk down the block and come back. Whatever works for you to get your heart rate elevated. Maybe a jump rope, whatever you want to do. Anything just to keep moving. Again, this is no resistance, a little crisper on the pace. Jumping jacks, again, anything that works, all right? All right, well, I hope you've had a good workout. We're going to do a little bit of a cool down and a stretch. Cool down is just the opposite of the warm-up. Basically the same sort of thing, just a little easier. Nice and easy. Again, we're just kind of mimicking what we did through our exercises, but at a slower pace, and no resistance. All right, couple stretches here. What we're just doing is trying to loosen muscles back up a little bit. Something for low back, rear, back of the thigh, maybe a little bit in the calf. You're going to keep most of your weight on your back leg. You're going to squat down and lean forward, digging in the heel on this front leg. Behind the thigh on the front leg is what we're looking at to stretch. Nice and gentle. 10, maybe 15-second hold at most. Try the other side here. Nice and gentle. Make sure you're not bouncing or jerking at all. Nice static hold. All right, something for the upper back, middle back. So pushing the hands away from the body as far as you can. Hands apart or hands together, either way. Round out that upper back, middle back. A little bit of a pelvic tilt, bringing the pelvis forward. We'll flatten that low back. All right, one more here for the chest, fronts of the shoulders. Just opening things up nice and wide, squeezing the shoulder blades together towards the spine. Always breathing. Not holding your breath. Another great spot for this would be in a door jamb. Sticking your forearms under the door jambs, stepping through the door in order to stretch that chest and shoulders. Again, nice and gentle. The order for circuit training would start as follows. Warm up, 2 to 3 minutes. We have 12 exercises, including 4 cardiovasculars. Number 1, squat or sit to stand for a minute, or 18 to 20 repetitions. Number 2, inclined push-ups, 1 minute or up to 20 repetitions. Number 3, bicep curls and hamstring curls, 1 minute or 20 repetitions. Number 4, cardiovascular, 1 minute of consistent movement. Number 5, inclined plank with mountain climbers, 1 minute. Number 6, seated shoulder blade squeeze with heel raises, 1 minute or 10 repetitions holding about 5 seconds apiece. Number 7, supine bridge with pullovers, 1 minute or 15 to 18 repetitions. Number 8, cardiovascular, 1 minute of consistent activity. Number 9, partial lunge with sword draw, 10 times each leg and arm. Number 10, seated lean back with rotation, 1 minute or 10 repetitions each side. Number 11, single leg balance, 30 seconds to 1 minute per leg with or without ball. Number 12, cardiovascular fitness, 1 minute consistent exercise. After that, you would spend 1 to 2 minutes in cool down to get your heart rate back down below 100 beats per minute if needed, and then stretching. Good 2 to 3 stretches, holding a good 10 to 15 seconds apiece. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed circuit training. Work as hard as you feel is necessary in order for you to get a challenge, and then make sure you cool down, gets your heart rate back down, preferably below 100 beats per minute, especially if you did more cardio in this session or ended with more cardio. Try to get that heart rate back down below 100 beats per minute before you go take a seat. Remember to drink plenty of water through this routine also. Thank you.